Happy Monday, everybody. We are back for another Monday Miracle, and today we are talking about an 8-year-old who was still having trouble controlling her bladder. And it wasn't really happening. We have some kiddos that we're working on getting through the night in terms of bedwetting, but this was actually happening more during the day. And it was getting to the point where, it was taking over the entire family's life, right? They're having to travel everywhere, always having extra clothes. Well, their sister was having to worry about it. The parents were, of course, always having that top of mind. And as an 8-year-old, right, she's having to bring extra pairs of clothes to school, and there starts to become kind of a mental emotional component. She's kind of embarrassed about it. It's a whole thing, right? And so they came in and we started talking about how subluxation, or how stress stuck in the nervous system, doesn't allow the system to function. And when you think about what really is happening with potty training or us, getting those signals is to go to the bathroom, it's really simple. Basically, if you think about it, we all have stretch receptors, or these receptors in our bladder, or this also works for number 2, as we're working with some kiddos on working on that as well. But what really happens is those stress receptors, right, when our bladder gets full, they alert our brain, hey, it's full. Our brain then has to recognize a signal of saying, ooh, I know what that signal means, right? And that's basically the potty training part of it, is our brain's getting a signal, and we are teaching our kiddos, like, hey, that signal means go to the bathroom. So when we get that signal, we go to the bathroom, and then our brain sends that signal back down to the bladder, and it says, okay, you're good to go. And so when we have subluxation, or stress stuck in the nervous system, specifically in the kind of lower back area, because that's right where the bladder and right where the nerves that control the bladder and control the sending and receiving of these messages are, when we have stress stuck in that area, a lot of times there's a disconnection there. A lot of times the brain and body are not having that communication pathway that they're supposed to have. And so this little lady came in, and when we took history, we also found out, and she also struggles with sleep. She struggles with constipation a little bit, and she struggles with anxiety a little bit as well. And so, we did our scans. We identified, yep, sure enough, there is stress stuck in that neurospinal system, which is where that all of that communication is happening. And we started to have some improvements in the sleep. Oh, she's sleeping in way better. She's sleeping way more soundly. Ooh, almost every time she leaves after an adjustment, she has a bowel movement. She goes number 2, right? We talk about poop a lot here in the office. And for this 8-year-old, it's kind of funny almost to bring up, like, hey, have you pooped today? She gets a little bit embarrassed. It's like, no, it's okay, but it's all fun and games. But when we see those signs, that means, okay, her body's starting to come online, right? These systems are starting to communicate and do the things they're supposed to. But she was still having a lot of trouble with the incontinence and controlling her bladder. And then we came in last week, and all of a sudden, for a week straight, no accidents. Now, this is a kiddo who's having an accident pretty much every single day, right? Sometimes we try to hide it from mom. I was like, I've been, checking, and yep, no, we're in the clear, right? So how does that happen? Well, we've seen in her scans that the stress is out of that system. The brain and body are able to communicate, and this bladder control is a really obvious one, where it's kind of very yes or no. It's either happening or not, right? For most people, when it comes to anxiety, like this young lady, or some of the ADHD or other stressors that we're having, what we are seeing is that they are having this disconnection when we are seeing between brain and body, right? That disconnection is not as just yes or no, right? It is a little bit more intricate than that, but that's why we have some of these amazing scans that look at stress stuck in the system, that look at balance between the different sides of the nervous system, that look at energy usage within the nervous system, and the organization of the nervous system, the efficiency of the nervous system, and we go on and on and on. And it's really important because that nervous system is that overarching system that controls all the other systems of the body. So just like how we've been talking about how it controls the bladder, well, guess what? It also controls the emotional system. It also controls the sensory system, right? It also controls the energy. It controls everything that's going on in the body. And so we got a phone call there. So along with that, right, this is an easy example of when we remove stress out of the neurospinal system, the brain and body start talking to each other again, and all of a sudden we see these pretty incredible improvements. So that is a Monday Miracle for this week. Keep an eye out. We will, of course, have another one coming up on Monday. If you have any other questions, or your kiddo struggling with anything similar, send us a message. We'd love to help.